Hi guys, my name is Christine, and today I'm talking about how to reach God consciousness by changing your self-concept. Okay, so let me first just quickly talk about your self-concept. Okay, so your self-concept is all about the things that you believe are within your capabilities, what you believe is possible for you. So if you don't believe that you can reach Christ consciousness, if you don't believe that you can reach God consciousness, if you believe that you can't think and feel like the universal mind, then it's very unlikely that you will be able to, because you don't believe it of yourself. You don't expect it of yourself. You don't believe you can reach that. Okay, so what you need to change in your self-concept then is, I know that I can reach this kind of consciousness. I know that I can act and behave like a saint. I can act and behave more divinely. I can be more giving and more loving to others and to the world around me. Okay? So that's what you need to change within your self-concept in order to reach God consciousness. Okay? So let me just quickly talk about God consciousness for a bit as well, in case some people are unaware of it. Okay, so in my opinion, the best thing that you can read and to practice in order to reach God consciousness is studying and practicing the prayer of St. Francis. Okay, so give it a quick Google search, look up the prayer of St. Francis. Okay, now what you'll find about this prayer is it's all about, for example, one of the lines is, "Let me be a channel of your peace." Okay, so what that means is, you're not someone who's searching for peace. Like maybe you're wanting to become more God consciousness because you want peace in your life. Well, in reality, in the way that the prayer says this, is that instead of trying to seek peace, become peace. Make peace a part of your personality. Peace is something that you bring to every situation that you're in, whether it be chaotic or calm or in between. Okay. Another line in that prayer is, where there is sorrow, let me bring joy. Okay, so it's all about when you're about in your life and you're in places, perhaps you see someone that's sad, uplift them. Okay, whether it be at work, whether it be in your family or something like, be the one who's the uplifter rather than the one that sort of goes down to those people's levels. Okay. There's another line as well about understanding. Okay, so instead of wanting to be understood and known and to be and to be taken care of and looked after, instead of wanting to be understood, seek to understand others. Don't worry about if you're understood or not. Don't let that be part of your consciousness. And try to understand others and bring empathy to others. So you can often see this in the great saints that, there's been around on the planet. So, for example, if we think about Mother Teresa, right? Did she get? I'm pretty sure she became a saint. I'm pretty sure she got to the saint. She's known as a saint now. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But for example, with Mother Teresa, she wasn't trying to get other people to do things for her. She was doing things for other people. She wasn't thinking about, I want people to understand me. I want people to take care of me. She didn't think about that. She was too busy in the giving mode of trying to understand and help other people. She wasn't thinking about what she was receiving. Okay, and that's exactly what that prayer is about. You got to stop thinking about what you're receiving and focusing on what you're receiving and becoming resentful or whatever it may be that the world or whatever hasn't given you the things that you wanted, or people haven't given you what you wanted. It's all about getting to a place where you are pushing out this energy of, I'm going to be caring, unconditionally loving and understanding to everybody. When I see sorrow, I'm going to bring joy. When I see unrest, I'm going to bring peace. And I'm going to walk and act like that all the time. And I'm just going to give and be understanding and be like? And one of the best questions you can ask yourself is things like, when you get into a situation and you're trying to practice God consciousness or Christ consciousness, is, so how would Jesus respond to this? What would he do? What would Jesus do? I think there's that famous like little tag you can get there, that what would Jesus do? Like, I think it's WWJD. What would Jesus do? Right, and it's there to remind you. You can get like a little wristband, and it's there to remind you of that, right? Or what would God do? What would a saint do in this situation? And that's something you can ask yourself, especially in those moments where you're sort of like already getting a little bit anxious about what's going on around you, because let's say people are arguing, let's say there's some other kind of turmoil going on in your life. Let's say maybe someone you know is sick. You got to think, okay, so what would Mother Teresa do? What would Saint Bernadette do? What would Pedro Pio do? I think that was his name. And what would Jesus do? What would a saint do? And just ask yourself that question, okay? So another thing that will help as well, because obviously it's really easy, and I've talked about this before, but it's really easy to be kind and loving to people who you already love and like. But the real challenge is to be able to be that way towards people that you don't like. That co-worker that's always never really liked you, that's always kind of maybe been bitching behind your back or whatever it may be. The boss that has never really approved of you, really liked you that much. Maybe even someone that's hurt you very, very deeply in your past. It's really difficult sometimes to be kind and loving and think loving things towards those people, even when you're, and when you're around them too. It can be very, very tricky to do that, okay? But if you want to reach more of a God-like consciousness, Christ consciousness, then you have to practice blessing those people and not reacting in the same way that you previously did, because perhaps when you saw that coworker, you would instantly feel the disdain and the hurt feelings when you see that person that hurt you when you were a lot younger. It's very easy to fall into those emotions. So the idea then is that you got to think of, okay, so what can I do? What can I think? What can I feel when I see these people? How am I going to behave differently? Again, go back to, what would Jesus do? What would a saint do? How would a saint, behave in this situation? And another thing that you can think of as well is like, well, one of the things that you can do this is sometimes, because when you're in the moment, it can be very difficult to remember these things. You want to rehearse beforehand. You want to practice how you're going to respond beforehand, rather than going into environments and just acting spontaneously. Meditate on it. Think, okay, so when I'm in this situation, right, when this situation happens, let's say when I'm having to work with this coworker, how am I going to respond? Right, and rehearse it in your brain, how you're going to do it, right? You may see yourself being more patient. You may see yourself turning the other cheek when they say something that's not very nice or whatever it may be. You can rehearse how you're going to actually respond, okay? You may actually respond very lovingly towards them. Maybe they say something that's kind of mean to you, and you respond in a more loving way towards them, and say something differently to them, okay? And rather than what you would usually say, which may be something that's kind of combative and argumentative. So rehearse in your brain what you're going to do before you enter these situations, okay? And that will give you more control, and it'll help you remember what you're going to do, okay? So another thing as well that's going to really help as well is if you meditate. So you just close your eyes and you just imagine good things happening to these people in your life that you do not like. Perhaps some kind of healing, because perhaps one of these people may not be very well. Maybe they're not mentally well or physically well, whatever it may be. And you just see them in, it's like a healing light. And maybe you're even touching their head and helping them heal. Right? You're touching the top of their head and you're putting light energy into them. Perhaps there's a couple of people that you know at work who have always been arguing, and you don't really like either of them, and so what you do is you imagine in your brain, you imagine them two reconciling and being friends and happy and laughing. Yeah, it's all about this imagery that you put into your head, and that will make you feel more loving towards those people. And therefore, if you're more loving towards those people that you dislike, yeah, it's going to put you into more of a God and Christ-like consciousness. Because from what I've seen and from what I've felt, and whenever I've connected to the divine and through meditation or whatever, I don't think God holds grudges. I don't think the universe holds grudges. It doesn't matter what you label this divine energy. I don't think they hold grudges, right? So therefore, you shouldn't hold grudges either. You should learn to let it go and release it. And one of the best ways that you can do that is through visualization. Because if you can mentally rehearse as well how you're going to respond and how you're going to act around those people, it's more likely that you're actually going to do that, okay? You may even want to rehearse just how you're going to be throughout your entire day. So not even just with those people that you dislike, but, okay, so I want to reach God consciousness. I want to reach this more Christ-like consciousness. How would a person who is acting saint-like and what Jesus would act like and what God would act like, how would they go through their day? How would they wake up? How would they eat their breakfast? How would they deal with their children? How would they deal with their spouse? How would they deal with their friends and their family? How would they deal with their co-workers? And just see yourself, just mentally rehearse how you're going to interact with absolutely everybody. And start to live from that place. But it all comes with practice, okay? It all comes from mentally rehearsing what you're going to do, and then actually doing it, right? When you've stopped your meditation and living like that. So don't ever worry about having a step back and having a day where things don't quite work out the way you want it, or you were quick to anger for whatever reason. Because it's all a journey, it's all a practice. This is something that I know that I'm going to have to be practicing forever. For my whole life. I don't think I'll probably ever reach where I'm like 100% pure God consciousness or pure Christ consciousness. Like I just know that it's going to take some time, but and it's going to take that time. It's going to take a lifetime, because obviously we still live in a human body with human instincts. Because we're still like the animal basically. We're still an animal. We still have urges and these instincts and impulses that are very hardwired into us. But I do think that we can overcome it as long as we remain conscious and aware of it, and we keep practicing all the time, and you'll get way better at it. You can't just do this once. It's a practice. It's a daily practice. It's something that you've always got to be thinking about and let it be on your mind, and to meditate on these things, okay? But you can reach it and you can get it. But again, it's all from your self-concept. It's all about, does this feel natural to me? Because does it feel like this is something that I'm capable of doing? And I think it's something that everyone's capable of doing, but obviously it comes down to how you personally feel. Am I capable of feeling and acting like this? Am I capable of visualizing people that I dislike in divine light and healing and being happy? Okay. So it all comes down to what you believe is possible for you, okay? And if you believe it's possible for you, then it is. So thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.